In the lab, with a twist of fate, the cheese doctor's here, it's never too late. With a wheel of brie and cheddar so fine, he knows every flavor, every design. He's got the cures for every craving, from creamy goat cheese to sharp and amazing. No lactose, no problem, he's got the fix. Healing with cheese, oh, it's the ultimate mix. Oh, the cheese doctor, master of the curd, spreading joy with every bite, haven't you heard? From Gouda to feta and Parmesan too, the cheese doctor knows just what to do. In his white coat, with a smile so wide, he's got the knowledge of cheese on his side. Aged or fresh, soft or blue, whatever you need, he's got the brew. He's got the cures for every craving, from creamy goat cheese to sharp and amazing. No lactose, no problem, he's got the fix. Healing with cheese, oh, it's the ultimate mix. Oh, the cheese doctor, master of the curd, spreading joy with every bite, haven't you heard? From Gouda to feta and Parmesan too, the cheese doctor knows just what to do. He'll stitch up your heart with a mozzarella hug, give your soul a taste of a cheddar drug. If you got a craving, don't you despair, the cheese doctor's always right there. Oh, the cheese doctor, master of the curd, spreading joy with every bite, haven't you heard? From Gouda to feta and Parmesan too, the cheese doctor knows just what to do. So here's to the cheese doctor, the legend so true. With every bite, you'll know what to do. Healing with cheese, it's a world of delight. The cheese doctor, making everything right.
Hi everyone, welcome once again to my YouTube channel, Doctor Quesero TV, and today's show as the Cheese Doctor. However, today we're going to speak about something very important about cheese making, and it's the key ingredients in the cheese making process. So, but before that, I want to say that we are pretty much already 53,000 subscribers in YouTube, and I want to thank you all for for subscribing to my channel. Without you guys, we shouldn't have any show. So I really appreciate it. And if you want to learn how to make cheese, you are in the right place, because this is one of the YouTube channels of making cheese more important of the planet. All right, we have the Australian Gavin Weaver, but I am the second one with more subscribers. So, but I know more than Gavin Weaver. Tell you what, okay. Just a greeting for him. However, no hard feelings. My name is Dietrich Truxes, and I am the Cheese Doctor, and I am broadcasting from Auckland, New Zealand. All right. Today, this show is the the English version of my Spanish show that I have at 9:30. Okay. My mother tongue is Spanish. However, by living here in New Zealand, I speak English, and I try to do this show in English for the people who wants to learn how to make cheese, but they don't speak Spanish. They don't understand my channel. Okay. However, YouTube soon will be creating this dubbing function, and all the videos will be translated with using artificial intelligence. In any language, in Japanese, in English, And even though the video will be in Spanish, it will be translated to English. All right. But at this stage, I'm gonna speak in English. All right. Today we're gonna speak about the milk, or the key ingredients how to make cheese. Right. But before that, I'm gonna say hello to everyone here on the social media. We have people on YouTube and in Instagram. We have also subscribers in TikTok. We have in Facebook, and we are transmitting simultaneously in all these channels. Right. Um, for all of you guys, welcome again. And as I said, I'm going to start going into the topics, all right? So let me put the presentation here. And we're gonna speak, as I said before, and about a fantastic topic. And I consider it fantastic and fascinating also, right? And is the key ingredients in artisan cheese making, okay? Artisan cheese making is a process that combines tradition, combines also skills, and of course, a natural connection with the ingredients that we're going to use in the cheese making process. So let's get started, okay? Um, I had the system a little bit slow, but never mind. Let me see. Okay, here we're gonna go. Okay. Artisan cheese making, as I said before, it's a fascinating process and combines tradition, combines skill, combine art, because combine science. Because when we are making cheese, we are using we are developing a lot of processes that are within the cheeses, right? And of course, it also combines a deep connection with this natural ingredient that we use in cheese making. And this process is not just about following a recipe, okay? um, it's more than that. It's about understanding and respecting each of the elements involved in creating an exceptional cheese. When we are making cheese, we have to understand what's happening into the cheese. If we just follow a recipe, we're gonna be like the rest of the cheesemaker. Um, we're gonna have a normal cheese. But if we know what's happening to the cheese, if we understand the process, and we're gonna make a connection with the product that we are making, with the cheese that we are making, and of course, we are going to make a unique cheese. Right? Let me tell you that over the centuries, the master cheesemakers has perfected their techniques, okay, passing down the knowledge from generation to generation. And each master cheesemaker, when they are learning, okay, and the second time that they make the cheese, they add their personal touch, resulting in unique and high quality cheeses. Sorry. Um, and these cheeses are not only a delight to the palate, because they also tell a story. They tell the story of the region where the cheese was made, of the climate of the area, the animals that were used, the food that the cattle in this case, if it is cow's milk, that the cattle had, if they were fed with with grass, or they were fed with silage, and also it tell a story of the people who produced them. All right, so this is very important that we consider when we are making this type of cheeses. Right? Let me get to the next slide. All right, now what when we are making cheese, we need one basic ingredient, and I believe is the main ingredient, of course, beside others, but and I'm talking about the milk. Okay, the quality of the milk is fundamental in artisan cheese making, and it directly influences the flavor of the cheese, the textures, and the quality, and I would say the aroma as well. Okay, when we are making cheese, raw milk is considered the best option for making cheese because it retains all its natural properties, including minerals, including beneficial bacteria and enzymes. Okay, and these properties are essential for producing a stable and for developing complex and deep flavors. Right. So, however, when we are making fresh cheeses, all right, we have to use pasteurized milk, and I'm gonna tell you after the reasons and stuff. Okay, coming back to the raw milk, the raw milk comes from animals that have been properly fed and raised in optimal conditions. All right. There is a saying that when we are making cheese, if we use a good milk, okay, a good source of milk, our cheeses, if we know how to make cheese, of course, the cheese will be good. But if we use um, not a good source of milk, our milk is not very good. Even though if we know how to make cheese, our cheese is gonna be bad. We're gonna achieve a bad cheese. Okay, so it is important that the milk has the perfect balance of fat, the perfect balance of proteins and sugars, and also minerals, right? Because all this balance will achieve good cheeses. For example, fat provides creaminess and smoothness into the cheese, while proteins are essential for the coagulation of the milk during the cheese making process. And the level of minerals will also help in the development of we call it the buffering capacity of the cheese. Um, it's very important that all these elements are in balance. Okay, for making fresh cheese, for example, and this is what I wanted to tell you about the fresh cheeses. Is important. I would say that it's crucial that we use pasteurized milk because in this way we're going to ensure the food safety. If we are making, and this is what I wanted to tell you, if we are making cheeses with raw milk, I'm talking about fresh cheeses, we have to use the 60 days rule of aging. Okay, we cannot eat fresh cheese made with raw milk. We cannot eat is a word. A fresh cheese made with raw milk before 60 days because we might get sick. All right. That's why we use pasteurization to make fresh cheeses because fresh cheeses are cheeses that have a very short shelf life, and by adding this shelf life, it have to be consumed quick. Okay, that's the reason we make it with pasteurized milk. Pasteurization eliminates the pathogenic bacteria, but the sad news is that it also affects some natural properties of the milk. What are these properties? Well, it affects the level of protein. It affects the level of calcium. All right. Um, Therefore, it is crucial that the milk is not homogenized, or rather, it should be non-homogenized to make it. This is the best milk that we need for cheese making. Of course, sometimes we use homogenized milk. For example, sheep milk is fully homogenized, but that's a different story. It's a different type of cheese. Okay, homogenization can hinder the coagulation, can affect the coagulation, and result in weaker curds. Okay, homogenization breaks down the fat globulus in the milk, which can interfere with the formation of the curd. Okay, as I said before, the best case scenario is use pasteurized non-homogenized milk or use raw milk. Okay, you can use raw milks as well because you have all the lactic native bacteria. But I'm gonna speak later on in other slide. All right. And the thing is that if for a reason you can find raw milk, and the only milk that you find in your supermarket or in your store is homogenized milk. Okay, try that this milk not to be ultra pasteurized, right? It can be pasteurized, but not ultra pasteurized. But if the only option that you find is homogenized milk, it is very important, it's essential that you add calcium chloride to improve coagulation during the curdling process, all right? The calcium chloride helps to restore the calcium balance lost in the pasteurization, okay? Which because when we pasteurize the milk, we lose about 50% of the calcium, so the soluble calcium, right? Also, when we are homogenizing the milk, we by this homogenization process um, affect the strength of the curd when we are making cheese. So it is important that we use calcium chloride when we are making cheeses with homogenized milk, because in this way we will ensure a good curd formation and an adequate texture in the final cheese. Okay, okay, let's pass to the next slide. All right, another element that is very important in cheese making is the rennet. Okay, rennet is essential for coagulation. Okay, it's a fundamental enzyme in cheese making, and it is responsible for coagulating the milk. Okay, and transforming the milk into a curd, into something that we call curd. Okay, this enzyme can have different origins. It can be from animal source, it can be from vegetable source, microbial source of a genetical, and we call it FPC, rennet FPC. But this is a rennet produced by genetical engineering. Okay, in my channel, there is a video about the difference between the different type of rennet, and I'm giving you the difference of the FPC with the other rennet. So I invite you to watch this video. It's in my channel. I reckon it was done maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. Go over there and find it, because it's important that you see that you watch this video, because you're gonna have the difference. All right. What does the rennet do? The rennet breaks down the molecule of protein in smaller smaller molecules called peptides. All right. Specifically, the molecule of protein is big, right? So when we apply rennet, when we put rennet into the milk, what it does is breaks down the molecule of protein in the amino acid number, or in the joint number, number, or in the link is the word 156, which is a link form. It has an amino acid called phenolphthalein, and the other one I don't remember the name, but it doesn't matter. You don't need to know this biochemical at this stage. You don't need to know this biochemical knowledge. By knowing that the rennet coagulates the milk is enough for you at this stage, okay? And as I said, the rennet comes, and the animal rennet comes from, because I already spoke about the type of rennet, but the animal rennet comes from the calf, from the forestomach called abomasum, all right, in the young ruminants, okay, such as calves and lambs as well, okay. This type of rennet contains chymosin, which is an enzyme that helps to coagulate the milk, right? And the cheeses, the cheeses made with animal rennet usually have more intense flavor and a more firm structure. Examples of these cheeses are, for example, the cheddar, the Parmesan, Parmigiano Reggiano, this type of rennet. Okay. On the other hand, we have vegetable rennet. The vegetable rennet is extracted from plants, and um, these plants are they call it the cardo flower. All right, there is one. The artichoke, the thistle flower is the cardo flower in Spanish. All right, um, some figs, the latex of some plants as well, etc. Right, and this type of rennet is a popular option for these people that don't eat meat, that they are vegetarian. Okay, this type of cheeses made with vegetable rennet and tends to be softer, okay, and more creamy. Of course, with a slightly sweet flavor, but they tend to be a little bit more bitter. Okay, so for example, there is a Spanish cheese called torta del casar, and this cheese is kind of bitter, and it's pretty much liquid because it's made with this flour. They call it in Spanish cardo flour. Okay, or in English I reckon it's the thistle flour. Okay, all these cheeses are made with vegetarian rennet. Okay, example of these cheeses, as I said before, another cheese is the Cabrales one. Cabrales cheese, the queso de Burgos is also a cheese made with vegetable rennet, queso de Burgos, and the other type of rennet is the microbial rennet, okay, which is obtained by microorganisms such as bacteria and fungi, okay, and this rennet is specifically useful in the production of vegetarian and vegan cheeses. Okay, we can make vegan cheeses with microbial rennet and cheeses for vegetarians with microbial rennet as well. All right, so this is something that you need to consider. The cheeses made with this type of rennet, with the microbial one, are milder, okay, and less intense in flavor. Compare, of course, with the cheeses made with animal or vegetable rennet. This type of rennet also allows a better standardization of the process. When I'm saying of the process, I'm referring to the coagulation process. This microbial rennet tend to produce more standard cheeses, and which is beneficial for if we are making cheeses at a large scale. Okay, and there is the last type of rennet that we have is the FPC rennet, which is the rennet with with made with genetical engineering. Okay, as I said before, watch this video in my channel, and I'll explain everything about this channel. Okay, but as I said, rennet is another crucial ingredient when we make cheese. But what you need to understand is or learn is that the choice of rennet the choice of the rennet type only influence the flavor and the texture of the cheese. It also affect the appearance of the final characteristic of the cheese. Okay, so this is very important that you consider and take in account because the rennet might affect sometimes the flavor, depending on the type of the use, the flavor and also the texture. All right, and therefore the final characteristic of the cheese. Okay, the other element in the cheese making process in the milk is the lactic culture. Lactic cultures are another crucial element that we need to consider when we are making cheese. Okay, the lactic culture they are I would say is a must. It's a must ingredient that we have to have when we are making artisanal cheese because they are responsible for initiating the fermentation of the milk. Okay, What happened with this bacteria? The lactic culture is the bacteria that is implicit into the milk. They are living into the milk. When the milk is raw, these bacteria are just living they are in a native way into the milk. When we pasteurize, we kill them, so we have to put them back again. Okay, and what does the bacteria do? The bacteria um, simply convert the lactose of the milk, which is the sugar, into lactic acid. And by producing lactic acid, the level of acidity will increase and the cheese will be preserved, and will will be protected from pathogens, external pathogens that might come into the cheese by cross contamination, right? But also develop the flavor and the texture of the cheese. And also, I would say the aroma of the cheese, because depending on the type of cheese of bacteria that we use, we some bacteria produce aroma, some bacteria produce acid, another bacteria might produce acid and texture, another bacteria would produce the three of them. So depending of the combination, and this is where the art is, depending how we combine these lactic cultures, we're gonna make a different type of cheese. All right. So there are different type of lactic ferments. We have, for example, lactic culture that are they like low temperature, right? And we also have lactic culture that like high temperature. The ones that like low temperature are called mesophilic bacteria or mesophilic lactic culture. Okay, for example, these bacteria are used in cheddar, are used in Gouda, okay, in contrast with the thermophilic ones that they like high temperatures, and these cheeses are used pretty much for all the alpine cheeses, and also the, for example, parmesan. When we are making mozzarella as well, we use the thermophilic cultures. Okay. um, what you need to understand is that during fermentation, these bacteria produce lactic acid. Okay, and sometimes, depending of the bacteria that we have, some of them produce also carbon dioxide. It will depend on the bacteria. Um, Mesophilic ones produce more carbon dioxide. Okay, for example, in when we use when we are making alpine cheeses, we have to use another type of bacteria that produce carbon dioxide. All right, and the lactic acid helps to coagulate the milk and develop complex flavors. Sometimes the bacteria that produce carbon dioxide needs to have some level of acidity into the milk, so we combine them. All right, we use the thermophilic one and the this bacteria that produce carbon dioxide, so we can use it and we can make the cheesemakers have developed along the years. They have developed the cheeses such as the Emmental, as the Gouda, Edam, raclette. These types of cheeses, they're called. Some of them are called Alpine cheeses. Some others are Dutch cheeses. Okay, that has a close body, but it will depend on the bacteria that we use. Okay, and of course we're gonna be by having this combination, we can make unique cheese. Also, by combining these bacteria, there is a process. I would say an invasion called um, bactrophagy. Okay, the bactrophagy, bactrophagia in Spanish, bactrophagy. Um, the milk or the lactic cultures are attacked by a virus, and this virus inject their genetical material into the bacteria and kill the bacteria, and the acidification process stop. So in this way, we cannot make the cheese because we won't be able to produce acid because the bacteria is dead. What the company that have made the lactic cultures, they combine one bacteria with another in the cultures that we buy in the market, right? So to avoid this bacterophagy. Um, in this way, even though if our batch is attacked by bacterophagy, we still have the other strain, and we won't lose the process. Okay. In summary, the lactic ferments or the lactic cultures in cheese making are fundamental for transforming the milk into cheese, providing unique flavors and, of course, a variety of textures within the cheese. Of course, it will depend on the type of bacteria that we use, and the choice of the right lactic culture or the right ferments and the control of the fermentation process are is essential for producing high quality cheeses. Okay, and once the cheesemaker, um, based on the experience along the year during the years, he will develop his own recipe and, of course, his own secret recipe, which will not normally they don't give it to anyone, right? And this is why we say that cheesemaking is science mixed with a lot of art. I would say it's more art than science, or 50 and 50. Okay, now let's talk about another ingredient, which is the salt. Let me put the slide here. The salt is another ingredient that is another crucial ingredient that we use in cheese making. Okay, why? Because by salting the cheese, we are serving several important functions. First, and the salt acts as a natural preservative. Okay, in my case, I don't use preservative at all my cheeses are organic. I use only salt and the acidity of the produced by lactic culture, as I said before. Okay, so the salt inhibit the growth of unwanted bacteria and prolong or extend the shelf life of the cheese. Okay, additionally, the salt enhance the flavor of the cheese, making them more intense and pleasant to the palate, right? Salt can be added in different ways when we are making cheese. For example, it can be incorporated directly into the curd before molding. It also can be dissolved in brine. Um, what we do is we use water, put the brine, put water, mix it with salt, and we submerge the cheese, we soak the cheeses into this solution for a period of time. What time? Okay, it will depend on the size of the cheeses. And we can also salt the cheeses by applying salt on the surface of the cheeses by flotation, or only by spreading the cheese. Sorry, by spreading the salt on top of the cheeses and by turning them over every day. Okay, the salt will penetrate on the cheese by osmosis. Okay, the point is, what you need to learn is that each method has a different impact on the flavor and texture of the final cheese that you guys produce. Okay, and another aspect that you need to consider is the amount of salt as well. The amount of salt used and the method of application will vary depending on the type of cheese that you are making, and, of course, according to the preferences of the cheesemaker. Remember, the cheesemaker is the artist, and the cheesemaker will decide whether if he's going to soak the cheese into brine, or whether he's going to frottate the cheese or just spread it. It's his call. And I'm going to put an example. Let's say that we are making blue cheese. The blue cheese is normally spread with salt, but the level of salt might vary depending on the cheese maker, right? For example, some fresh cheeses require less salt. There is a cheese, the Peruvian fresh cheese, for example, or the Brazilian queijo fresco requires a lower level of salt than feta, for example. All right, it will depend, and it will depend on the characteristic of the cheese. Another ingredient in the cheese making in the cheese another ingredient, no, I would say another process in the cheese making process beside the ingredient is the maturation of the cheese. I'm gonna go quickly with the maturation because it's not part of the topic, but I consider that it's important because if we don't know how to mature a cheese, we're gonna get very low quality flavor cheese. So it's important that we know at least the basics, because there is a video in the in my channel record about maturation. I'm gonna make another one because I consider that maturation of a cheese, the aging of a cheese, is the hardest process of making cheese. Why? Because it's the most difficult one. Why? Because this is where the art and science combines, and if we don't know what to how the cheese evolved along the way, we will not achieve a good cheese. Okay, so it's very important during aging the cheese get turned over every day, and we have to brush any mold that might pop up. Also, it's important to wash the curd with solutions such as brine, such as vinegar, or a mixture of both. I use a mixture of both as well. And during aging, when the cheese is ripening, the cheese is going to take, due to the action of the enzymes produced in the acidification process, as you can see, it's all connected, right? The cheeses will develop or will improve aroma, will improve flavor, and will change texture. So, due to several processes called proteolysis and lipolysis, all right? All this process help out by the enzymes, as I said before, and also by the rennet that we use. Um, um, for example, other fresh cheeses like goat cheeses are aged for a short period, giving them a mild flavor and a creamy texture. In contrast, with hard cheeses like Parmesan that can be aged for years. I have cheeses in my fridge, my cheese free, my cave, because it's only for cheeses. Um, that they have 1 year already, and I have a Parmesan that I made with raw milk. It's already have 18 months. I'm gonna give it 36 months or maybe more. And I have a pecorino cheese as well, made with sheep milk. I'm still ripening. I'm gonna give it a long time so we can have a cheese with a lot of present. All right. Um, so this is as I said, the ripening process of a cheese, the maturation of cheese, the aging of a cheese is one of the hardest process in the cheese making process, and we need to start and check it along the way. And by tuning it, we use trier. We have like a small spoon that we chuck into the inside the cheese, and then we can smell the aroma, we can taste the flavor, and then we put back the piece so the cheese doesn't lose humidity or moisture. And this is called triers, um, and this is what we do when we are aging the cheeses. All right, okay. And the other type of ingredient that we use, we need to make cheese are additive. We use additive also to make cheese, but I'm not talking about chemicals. I'm talking about natural additive. Okay. Well, the salt is an additive because it's um, is something external that we put into the milk. It's not. It doesn't. It's not into the. It's not native into the milk. Okay. However, these additional ingredients into the incorporated into the cheese create an unique and distinctive flavor that will reflect the creativity and skill of the cheesemaker. For example, when we are making provolone, we put an enzyme, which is an additive called lipase. Okay, the lipase breaks down the fat more quickly than when we are making Havarti, for example. And also sometimes when we are making mozzarella by the quick method, we put sometimes a little bit lipase so we can the mozzarella gets a buttery flavor. But this is in our call. This is our call if we put the additive or not. Okay. For example, we cheese with herbs can have an aromatic flavor, and depending on the type of herb that we put, we're gonna have different type of cheeses and different type of flavors and different type of aroma. Okay, and we can also use spices such as pepper. We can put cumin. We can put curry, and by using this type of herbs and species, we can give our cheese an exotic touch. We also could use, for example, oil. We could use olive oil. We paint the cheese with olive oil and we'll preserve the cheese, and the cheese will not lose moisture too much, and we will also give in this flavor, okay, of olive oil. We can also use dry fruits, for example, okay, dry tomatoes, dry capsicums, nuts, almond, um, or even we can soak the cheeses into wine or liqueurs to achieve a better, a deeper and complex taste. Um, what I want you to understand is that this additive not only enhance the flavor of the cheese, but can also influence its appearance and also the texture of the cheese. And the incorporation of these additional ingredients allow all the cheesemakers to experiment and to create um, unique cheeses. And this is our philosophy: create unique cheeses and that will stand out into the market. The idea is not to sell fresh cheese like normal people, or Parmesan cheese or Gouda. No, the idea is to create unique cheeses, and by adding this additive, we can make a difference. We can stand out over our competitors and make unique products. Okay, and there is something that I want you to think about as well. Okay, and when about all this information that I have talked to you guys. Okay, and this is our next slide. Let me give it to you. Okay, this is what we need to think about, right? Um, Artisan cheese making, as I said before, is an art that combines a careful selection of ingredients. Okay, of course, with a deep understanding of fermentation and maturation process. Okay, each of the elements that we have explored today, such as the milk, the rennet, the lactic cultures used in the salt, and the natural ingredients that we use, I'm referring to the additive, okay, such as the cumin, curry, including the salt and stuff, will play an essential role in creating, I'll call it author cheeses, okay? And depending how we apply all the biological and physical process that are within this process, such as, for example, the control of temperature, the control of moisture into the cheese, the level of acidity, produced by the lactic bacteria, we can achieve specific type of cheeses, right? So what you must keep in mind is that the quality of the milk is the foundation upon which everything I've talked about today is built. This is what you need to understand. Okay, milk determines the milk determines the base flavor and texture of the cheese. Rennet, with its various sources, of course, is crucial in transforming the milk into curd. Simple, okay? The lactic ferments not only develop unique flavor, they also contribute to the texture of the cheese and helps to protect it because of the development of the acidity. Okay, the salt protect or preserve the cheese and also enhance the flavor of the cheese. And the natural additive also, allow the cheesemakers to innovate, to create art along with the science and create, of course, unique flavor. So I'm going to ask you, I'm going to ask you a question here. Are you intrigued to learn more about this fascinating world of artisan cheese making? Okay, and maybe intrigued of making it at home. You consider maybe hard. Okay, would you like to learn how to change your life for the better and earn maybe a substantial income by making and selling cheeses, so you don't have to work as an employee anymore and have your own business of cheese making? Believe it or not, cheese making gives you a very good revenue and high margins. Okay, very high margins. Okay. Well, I'm going to if your answer is yes, I'm going to present you my cheese course for beginners, which is the cheese is a course that we're giving here. Let me give you the slide. Let me put you the slide. Oh, I don't have the slide here. Okay, never mind. Let me put it to you. I don't have it here. Didn't put it in the presentation. Okay, never mind. Doesn't matter. I'm going to flick you the link here. I reckon I have it here. Let me see if I have it here. It's in Spanish, but the one you can translate it in English here. Put it here. Get it here. I know no, it's here. It's here. It is in Spanish. Go to the QR code. Sorry, I don't know why I didn't put it in the presentation. I should have put it because I remember that I put it, but I reckon I didn't save it. Okay, never mind. This happens. And go to the QR code if you want to learn. You can translate the website, use it a Google Translator, and you can have everything in Spanish. The course is in English. Don't worry about it. So you can watch it in English. All right. All the information is in English. This course is your basic course to make cheese. In this course, we're going to teach you what happened to the cheese, the elements for cheese making, what ingredient to use, what is the best meal to use. Because what I say here is not all the story. Okay, how to combine it, a little bit more of science, and we're gonna make 5 type of cheeses. We're gonna make mozzarella, which is a must for everyone because when we are making cheese, everybody wants to make mozzarella. And also fresh cheese, how to make the fresh cheese, how to make halloumi, for example, ricotta, how to make butter. These are the basic ones. And then if you want to go to the next step, you can get another the coaching program, which I'm gonna have. I'm gonna put you here, the coaching program, which is this one, right? This is also translated in 5 languages. This and you can use your there is an app. There is a plugin in Chrome that you can translate everything in any language, right? So pretty much. All right. This is all that I wanted to tell you. Now let's go back to the questions. If you have questions here, let me check the comment here. Here, they're speaking in Spanish. Jacob Escalante. You need to go to the course to the show in Spanish. All right, mate. Go to the show. This show is only in English, of course, and I will help you out how to make the smoking of the cheeses. All right, I will do that. No worry about it. Okay, and this is the link. And Instagram also we have. I don't have in Instagram comments. All right, I understand that you guys want to ask me in Spanish, but this show is only in English. And okay, maybe I don't have too many people at this stage. I have much more people into the show of into the Spanish one because I'm starting to get I want to get the English speakers audience. All right, so I expect not to have many attendants here because most of them are coming from my Spanish uh, roots. But no problem, it's fine. It's fine. I have questions here in my channel which I'm going to show you. All right, so you can learn the feedback um, of this you can have the feedback of the knowledge that I'm going to transmit, right? So he's telling here, Ernesto is telling me here, hello, excellent comment. I have a Sardinian cheese that is maturing and a red and develop and eat a red and develop some pink spots after a few days. What could it be? This pink spot is cross contamination. It's a pseudomonas. It's called Micrococcus ruseus. Okay. There is also another name. I don't remember the other name, but it's not it's not a pathogen. Okay. However, it might create off flavors into your cheese. So I would suggest clean it with brine. Okay, clean the cheese with brine. Clean it with salt and vinegar, so the pink will disappear. Maybe you can scrub it to take it out as well, and in this way you will be able to finish your ripening process. All right, but it's very important that you clean your kitchen or you clean your plant if you're making cheese commercially. Clean it. You have to improve your cleaning protocol because you have this type of bacteria on the air and or maybe in the on the top of your utensils. Okay, so you need to be careful. Right. Okay, another question here, Martha. Good evening, doctor. I'm losing too much muscle mass. I'm 66 old. How should I consume whey considering my age and lactose intolerance? Thank you. Look, there is a video in my channel how to make cheese for lactose intolerant, right? It's the same process how to make it's the same cheese making process. What changes is the source of milk. You need to find milk that is lactose free. Okay, and then um, it's lactose free, but it has sugar. Okay, because what this milk is when the manufacturers are producing this type of milk, what they do is they put an enzyme called lactase into the milk. This lactase breaks down the lactose molecule into glucose and galactose. But these are two molecules of sugar. And this sugar is used by the lactic culture and to acidify the milk. So the process is the same. Okay? Now, the way you have to, you can use the whey. However, I would suggest to pasteurize the whey. Why? Because the whey have rennet. It has 85% of rennet. And well, that's not part of the whey. But pasteurizing the whey, you might guarantee that you have a safe product for you, especially if you are making cheese with raw milk. Okay? The loss the loss of muscle mass, that is because of your age. Okay, you're telling that you are 66. And this is not because of the lactose free and stuff. You have when we are getting old, we tend to lose muscle weight, muscle mass. you need to lift weight, right? By lifting weight, um, you will recover your muscle mass. Okay, eat protein. Don't eat carbs. If you eat carbs, you're gonna, of course, if you are making too much exercise, a lot of exercise, it's good that you eat um, carbohydrates. Okay, but if you are not doing much, lower the carbohydrates to a minimum. In my case, for example, I am 63. It's pretty much the same as you. So I am losing mass, muscle mass, but I'm lifting weight. I exercise. You need to exercise. I practice judo. Okay. Tomorrow I have a competition. I'm going to be referee, not competing. All right. But anyway, you have to lift weight, lift, and to go to the gym and lift weight. And maybe if you don't like gym, you got to do it at home. Maybe you can buy rubber bands and do the same. Okay, and you will get your muscle mass back again. Okay, these are the advices that I can give you. But however, the last the ultimate word will be said by a nutritionist and a doctor. Okay, and they will tell you pretty much what else to do. In my case, I'm doing it myself. I'm doing the keto diet, and I stop all carbs. I get rid of my belly. I had a big belly. I don't have it anymore. Okay, I feel more energy, and I'm not eating carbs at all. Of course, this is gonna be only for a while, and then once I reach and I'm losing muscle memory, so I'm lifting weight and doing push. You can, if you don't like doing lifting weight, do push-ups every morning. I do push-ups every morning. Okay, and then you will you might eat a little bit of carbohydrates. Okay, not too many. Okay, remember the carbohydrate rate the level your level of insulin. So, and it's important that you have this level of insulin to a minimum. Okay. All right. This is it. Okay. Let me answer another questions and we leave. And we come back. Let me check here if we have more people asking questions. If you want to ask any question, please do it in English. I would appreciate that because this show is for English speakers. Okay, I don't have here in. I reckon all of them are in Spanish. Never mind, doesn't matter. For those who are watching my channel in English, if you want to watch the one in Spanish, go to my show at 9:30 a.m. New Zealand time. This is very important. Okay, all right. But if you want to carry on watching the show in English because you speak English, this is fine. You can ask any question if you want. If you don't want to ask anything, it's fine as well. I don't care. I don't mind. Okay. Okay. Ediran Velez. Hello, Dr. Cheesemaker. First, I want to tell you that I've fallen in love with cheesemaking. Now we're two. Thanks. Some for the cheeses, some for the classes. Can you tell me how to obtain 30% calcium chloride when we buy it at 100%? It's very easy. You're telling me that you want to make a calcium chloride solution 30% concentration. Very easy. Get, for example, a liter of water, or let's say 100 mils of water. Okay, 100 mil of water, and then I'm gonna tell you in a better way. 1 part of calcium chloride per 2 parts of water. Okay, like this. In numbers, let's say that you are going to make 100 mils. In numbers, you have to weigh 30 grams of calcium chloride, 100% concentration, which means that it's food graded. you can't use the one that this calcium chloride sold on the pool stores. No, because this calcium chloride is about 70-80% concentration, and they have 20% of impurity elements. So that's not good for cheese making. It has to be 99.99%, okay, which is the food grade one. So weight 100 grams, 30 grams of this calcium chloride in a small scale, and then put it I would say into a matraz, all right, or a cup with measurements, and pour water up to 100 mils. Dissolve everything, and you're gonna have 100 mils of calcium chloride solution, 30% concentration. This is how you do it. All right. Okay. Thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate coming next every week. Remember that the cheese making is an art and a science that you need to be every day getting information, getting content. If you want to get more content, write me an email, comment here in the video. Okay, whatever you want, I will help you out. If I can, I will help you out. If you want any suggestion, just comment on the in the part of the comments. And if you want me to make a video, if you want to talk about any type of topic, just let me know, and I will have it in account, and I will make it for sure. Right? Of course, it has to be in English for the show. Well, that's it. Well, see you next week. And remember that you're just only one cheese away from success, from changing your life through cheeses. And if you follow me, you're going to get it. See you next week. Bye-bye.
In the lab with a twist of fate, the cheese doctor's here. It's never too late. With a wheel of brie and cheddar so fine, he knows every flavor, every design. He's got the cures for every craving, from creamy goat cheese to sharp and amazing. No lactose, no problem. He's got the